State and Texas. And this is why, I took Oklahoma State to cover the spread. My picks went 3-1 against the spread this week, by the way. So we're the last 2 weeks we are 6-2 against the spread in our Big 12 picks. So we are rolling on those Big 12 picks. The only one I missed was I had West Virginia +6. What a dopey pick that was. But anyway, classic back and forth game. These two teams have now played the last 6 games in a row have been decided by 8 points or less. So Texas, Oklahoma State, they play great games against each other. This game came down to home field. It played a role. It's why I like the Cowboys to cover the number. And Spencer Sanders, I don't know what's going on injury-wise. I have no idea if anything's happening with that shoulder, but I know this much. 34 of 57, 391 yards, 2 touchdowns. The guy in a big spot against the Texas Longhorns was, for the most part, money in that game. And that's what you got to love about Spencer Sanders and what he brings to the table. I mean, old school, hard-nosed, tough dude, knows this team, knows the program, is confident in every situation, and it showed, and it rubs off on his guys, not just on that final drive when he hits Bryson Green for the game winner, but I mean just throughout the game. You could see it. Even when they were trailing, it never really felt like there was a lot of concern on that sideline. Even when Texas went up 21-10, it was like, okay, calm down, let's get a response. And after Texas goes up 21-10 in the second quarter on what was a quick strike, the Cowboys responded. They responded with an 8-play drive for 75 yards. So, they were able to get right back in the game. Texas then had a 31-17 lead at one point. But even at that point, Texas goes up 31-17, which followed a Spencer Sanders interception. Remember that. And what do? Quick strike. 3 plays, 85 yards, and a touchdown. And boom, they're back in the mix. I mean, they are just right back in it. And then, you get that thing to a touchdown at halftime. And then in the second half, you do what you got to do. And kudos to this defense. This defense that held Texas to just 3 points in the second half. Oklahoma State outscored them 17-3 in that second half. So, I mean, it was just everything that you wanted to see from Oklahoma State in that environment against the Longhorns, who everyone's, again, hyping up and saying, oh, watch out, here comes Texas. They're going to win the Big 12 and the whole thing. And Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy say not so fast. Now, who knows how things would have been different, because if you were watching the game, it's 41-34 Oklahoma State after the big go-ahead touchdown to Bryson Green. And Quinn Ewers throws an interception, but then Oklahoma State has a 3-and-out punt. Texas gets the ball back, and an 8-play drive ended with a Kendall Daniels interception. But a couple plays before that, Quinn Ewers had Xavier Worthy wide open in the end zone, and it looked like Worthy kind of tripped over himself a little bit and was not able to haul it in. That would have made it a tie game, extra point pending, and who knows how that game is different. But Quinn Ewers looked very average in this game, 19 of 49. Let me repeat that, 19 of 49. And the other reason I like the Cowboys in this game last week, if you heard my preview show, which I hope however you're getting this show now, you listen to our Heartland College Sports Picks Against the Spread preview show that we drop on podcast and YouTube Thursday nights. But I said this is the hardest road game and road environment Quinn Ewers will have played in his entire life. Dude hadn't started a road game since high school 2 years ago because he redshirted last year at Ohio State. And then, this year his games, since he was injured, most of his games were in Austin. This was by far the most difficult road environment of Quinn Ewers' career. And it showed at times. And you got to give Oklahoma State's defense that, was able to they didn't get to him a lot. I was shocked that the numbers were as big as they were. They only sacked Quinn Ewers once, but they had 13 quarterback hurries. 13 quarterback hurries. Colin Oliver looked like he was all over Quinn Ewers on a couple of occasions, but they ended up just being quarterback hurries. But either way, they made life difficult. They made life uncomfortable for Quinn Ewers. And it worked really effectively, and it worked really well. And you got to give this Oklahoma State defense credit that's coming along. Heck, they lost Brandon Evers before the game, or earlier in the week. He announced that he was going to stop playing this year and prepare for the NFL draft. So I think that's lame, but whatever. It is what it is. And, I mean, I'm sitting here watching this thing and saying to myself, this defensive line looks as good as ever. I mean, it was so impressive to watch them. And Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, you got to say this. Mike Gundy's continuing to be, I know him and Casey Dunn, you can make a strong case, lost that game against TCU last week with their conservative play calling. But all in all, Mike Gundy and this team is I think Mike Gundy's the most underrated college football coach in America. And I don't think it's close. You talk about a guy that's always got his team, it feels like, in the top 10, top 15. They are always competing for a Big 12 championship as we hit down the home stretch of the season. Like, it's just clear as day that this guy, from an underappreciation standpoint, is at the top of the list in college football. Doesn't get the national attention, doesn't get hyped up like some of these other guys. And you know what? He's just there every year, right in the thick of a Big 12 hunt, beating Texas, competing for Big 12 championships, ranked in the top 10, ranked in the top 15. And he doesn't even have the top brand in his own state, technically. Like, what does that tell you about Mike Gundy? So that was a great game on Saturday against Texas. Kudos to Gundy. Kudos to the Cowboys. They had the more veteran quarterback. They were at home and, the better head coach. So that's a good combo to have to come out with a victory, and that's exactly what Oklahoma State did. I'm Pete Mundo. HeartlandCollegeSports.com is, of course, how you find us covering the Big 12 Conference top to bottom. Subscribe to this show on YouTube and elsewhere. If you don't, podcast, of course, is a great way to find us.